Hi, I'm James, and this is Food for Thought. Hi, tonight I'm going to be cooking you a baked chicken breast over rice with a pepper relish and a tomato coulis. The ingredients we're going to be using tonight is olive oil, salt, tomato sauce, chicken stock, white wine, cilantro, diced onions, diced peppers. I'm going to dice some red peppers, andouille sausage, some tomatoes that have already been boiled and peeled, Tabasco sauce, red wine vinegar, sherry, lemon, garlic, thyme, bay leaf, cumin, and pepper. Alright, first things first, when we're starting this dish off, we want to salt and pepper the chicken heavily on both sides, just a coat, because we want to get the chicken in fast. It takes about 25 minutes to cook. And I've got my oven up to about 350 degrees. This thing should really take no time. It'll cook nicely. It's actually cooking at a slower temperature than most would believe. So it'll be nice and tasty. Next, we're going to move on to our yellow onion. We are going to cut this. It's also known as sweet onion. It comes in two varieties, white and yellow, unlike the other version known as the with onion. But we're gonna do a dice on this. So basically, what you want to do is we've taken an onion, we've taken off the ends of it, and then we cut it in half. And so we don't chop off our hands. We're actually going to go through with a very sharp knife and cut along the sides about twice. I like to do twice, no more than three, because it's just not going to look right. And then down the whole strip of the onion. Now, you can take your time with this. I'm just moving fast for time purposes. But this is what a dice usually looks like. I'll save the end of the onion. Great for stocks and stuff. Save that. Next, we're going to take these onions. We're going to throw them in this pan right here. It's the sound you want to hear. Shows that the pan's hot. It's going to caramelize these onions up real nicely. While these are caramelizing up lightly, the next thing we're moving on to is our tomatoes. Now, considering they're actually already boiled, I boiled them for about 15-30 seconds. The skin started to peel right off, so I peeled off the skin. Makes it a lot easier for sauces. I also put my fingers through the insides to get out all the seeds and the watery stuff. Not really good. Seeds don't digest very well, so I would just say get rid of them if you got them. So what we're going to do is we're going to chop these up really fast to make our tomato coulis, and at least get it started. Again, generally, like, if it's me, I could generally have this prepped out in probably 25 minutes. But for this purpose, I want to make sure that, everybody knows what's occurring in the process. These are about 3 Roma tomatoes too. I like Roma tomatoes, though technically they're not in season right now. But they're still good for sauces and stuff like that. I think they're probably the best for the sauces. Other than regular big tomatoes, like Hanover tomatoes or such, they're a little bit less useful for sauce making. After that, we're going to put in the tomatoes into the saucepan. Begin the cooling process. Spoons are good. I like spoons. I also like to use my hands to stir stuff, but for this purpose I use the spoon. Now we've got about a teaspoon of garlic here. Just toss that in as soon as you start to get the tomatoes a little bit hot. Let the flavors of the garlic infuse with the onions. The onions have already sweated out enough, so there's a lot of flavor here. There's actually, they probably haven't sweated out to the point where they're translucent, but they still got a little bit of a bite to them. That's going to come in handy in the long run when we start pushing in all the sauces and stuff like that, and then we puree it up. What we're going to do now is I'm going to deglaze the pan. This is a bottle of sherry that I've infused with rosemary, garlic clove is in here, and a bay leaf. I'm just going to throw that in here. Give the tomatoes, it's going to add a little bit of sweetness to the acidity of the tomatoes. Now that that's in there, I'm going to toss a little bit of salt and pepper in it. Help it cook down a little bit. And then I'm going to add my white wine. This is a 1/3 cup of white wine. A 1/4 cup of chicken stock. And a 1/2 cup of tomato sauce. Just try to get out as much as possible. Doesn't really matter. Next I'm going to add in my bay leaf and my thyme. I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit, and I'm going to let this reduce about a quarter of the way, and let it heat up so that way it makes it a lot easier for pureeing in the long run. Okay, next what we're going to do, we're going to cut this red pepper up. Actually, I've already chopped off the sides, as you can see. I'll show you how to make a quick, what's called a brunoise. Mine's not too nice, but still, it's just a small dice. Just take your pepper, put it on the side, and roll your knife across as you're rolling the pepper. Makes it a lot easier. Now, we're only going to use about maybe 3/4 of this. Put the rest on the side. I like to keep a container around with all the pepper ends, so that way I can refrigerate them. Great, again, for stocks, more storage, for relishes and everything else you need it for. Now what you want to do is I would cut this in half and then take it, lift it up, and gently go down so you're making little slivers. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these, bunch them together, turn them to the side, and then just go straight down them again. So that way they make little boxes. So we're going to do this. And again, take your time when you're cutting. You don't really have to do things like, they don't have to be perfect, but definitely don't try to cut yourself, especially when messing with sharp knives. We generally keep our knives sharpened here all the time. In fact, my cousin actually sharpens our knives pretty much once every 3 months. So be careful. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually bring over another cutting board since we're working with meat now. And this is andouille sausage. It is already cooked, but you don't want to take the risk of actually cross-contamination. So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to cut it in half. After we cut it in half, I'm going to cut little strips into this one as well. So that way it'll be a little bit smaller while it's inside the relish. And it'll actually look nicer when we put it down on the plate. Andouille's amazing. It's similar to chorizo, but it has a lot more heat in it. Especially if you get this one that's pre-cooked, it's definitely going to have a lot more heat in it than chorizo normally would. Chorizo is the Spanish version of sausage. Andouille is